So a very significant part of the problem we have in northern Nigeria is a practice called almajiri. Now, I'm not pronouncing that correctly because I think it's actually a Hausa or Fulani word, but it refers to a practice whereby children, once they become old enough to essentially like walk and talk, they're sent out of their homes to fend for themselves and obtain some kind of Islamic education. And they just walk around the streets begging because they have no other way to sustain themselves. And the idea is meant to be like, it's meant to train them in Islam. It's not exactly really clear, I'll be so honest, why this happens. But this happens in significant areas in northern Nigeria. Millions of children out of school, literally roaming the streets begging because, again, their parents kind of kicked them out of the house to fend for themselves. Now, I saw some guy, I don't know who this guy was, politician guy, whatever, talking about how some of those kids he met that were doing that, a few decades ago, they are now some of the most wanted terrorists that are rampaging through northwest Nigeria and terrorizing the population. Now, of course, it makes a lot of sense that if you have a system whereby millions of children, especially boys, are kind of left to fend for themselves, given what boys can be, it doesn't take a big leap to be like, actually, if I can just use violence and force to obtain what I want, I will just do that. This again bleeds into the kind of general lawlessness I talk about in Nigeria. If you think about it's like a lion pride or something, when they banish the juvenile males and there's like 3-4 of them to fend for themselves or whatever, what happens? They learn to hunt, etc., etc. Once they grow old enough, they see another pride, they start terrorizing those people. That makes perfect sense because they're not part of any kind of family. They basically cut off from society and they develop their own laws, their own code of conduct, their own ways. That's not civilized. But the fact that this is a practice in 2025 in Nigeria just speaks to, again, what you can expect from if you have a country with all these outcomes. I've done videos about the general lawlessness in Nigeria of large parts of the country that are not governed. There's no law there. Anyone can go there and start their own whatever it is you want to start. If it's if it's the Islamic Caliphate, if it's a school teacher nuns, if whatever it is you want to do there, there's no law. There's no one stopping you. If you now mix that with millions of young boys, impressionable, hungry, desperate, plus the nice, the right amount of Salafi, Wahhabi type of Islamic doctrine, the kind of outcomes we're seeing now is exactly what we'd expect. So if I want to do more videos on this, as if you guys are interested, but just to give you a flavor of, again, how to understand the kind of intricacies. Almajiri, look this up. It's Almajiri. I want to put it obviously in the video itself, but if you're curious about this kind of practice, it's going to give you a big idea.